The no-name community summoned people with powers and brought them to their world to become gifted players. One day while Azaoi was resting by the river, he saw a group of men bullying a student and they were not far from him. He thought of joining their fun, so he picked up a stone and threw it into the river. He followed it with another strike. He threw the stone so hard, and the impact was as strong as if those were from a cannon. When the bullies found out that he was the one who threw the stones, they quickly ran away from the river. He was about to leave when a letter suddenly fell from the sky with his name on it. Another recipient of the distributed letters was the rich woman named Asuka. She wondered why there was a letter on her desk, so she asked her maid if anyone had entered her room while she was away. Asuka even used her power to make her tell the truth, but according to her maid, no one had entered the room since she left. Another person who received a mysterious letter was a girl named Kasakabe, and it was brought to her by her cat. When she opened the envelope to read the letter, it suddenly lit up and she was transported in another world with Azaoi and Asuka. They all fell into the river, and when they got out of the water, Azaoi immediately asked Asuka and Kasakabe if they also received a letter. Asuka confirmed this, so they all introduced themselves to each other. Meanwhile, there was a human rabbit named Kurosagi who was not far from them and she had been hiding for a while. She thought that Azaoi did not notice her, and when she was about to show herself, she was surprised when Azaoi suddenly called her. When she appeared, she was suddenly attacked by Azaoi. Asuka thought that she was a cosplayer because of her ears, but she immediately denied it. They had so many questions, so Kurosagi said that they were in the little garden. And the reason why they were in that world was because they were given the opportunity to participate in the so-called gift games. She also mentioned that their powers were blessings from deities, demons, spirits, and stars. And they could maximize the use of their powers in the gift games. Kurosagi said a lot more about the gift games, including the prizes if they win, and about the hosts who run the games. She also wanted to introduce them to the community she belonged to, so she brought them along to introduce them to their leader, named Shin. She did not know that Azaoi had separated from them, that's why she got worried that only Asuka and Kasakabe were with her. Asuka said that Azaoi would look around in their world for the meantime. After hearing this, Kurosagi decided to go back to find Azaoi. So Shin took Asuka and Kasakabe inside the little garden. When they entered the passage, they were surprised that they could see the sky in it because a while ago, they knew that they just entered a tent. Shin explained that the roof of the little garden was invisible from the inside. It was also for the protection of creatures that live there like the vampires. They also learned that other than humans, there were many types of creatures living there including gods, Buddhas, demons, spirits, and animal-human hybrids. On the other hand, Kurosagi was worried because there were gods who were also holding gift games where Azaoi went, and he definitely had no chance of winning against them. When she arrived at the place, Azaoi was surprised to see the color of her hair. She immediately told him that they had to leave because he might be involved in the god's gift game. But she was too late because Azaoi said that he was already in the god's gift game. Suddenly, the god who would be his opponent appeared, and it turned out to be the water god. When the water god attacked, Azaoi just stopped it with his punch. Then he followed it up with a kick that immediately knocked his opponent down. Kurosagi could not believe that a human was able to defeat a god so easily. She was so pleased by what she witnessed that she suddenly felt hope. Meanwhile, Shin took Asuka and Kasakabe to a coffee shop, and they talked about their powers. While they were talking, the leader of the forest gallow community, named Guard, suddenly approached them. After the fight, Azaoi won the prize, which was a water tree sapling, and Kurosagi was very happy after receiving it because they would no longer need to buy water from other communities. Then Azaoi asked her why she summoned them to their world. It turned out that Azaoi also had a suspicion that Kurosagi's community was so weak that they had to summon another gifted players. Kurosagi felt uneasy, so she explained more about the community. She said that it was also like a country with a name and a flag. And their community was once been at the top in the East District for several years. Until the day came when their community had been targeted by stronger people, and this caused the downfall of their community. This was also what Guard was sharing with Asuka and Kasakabe. Then they found out that it was a demon lord who overthrew their community. So when they lost in the gift game, the demon lord also took their name and their flag, causing them to become a nameless community. They also lost their core members, that's why only she and Shin could participate in the gift games because their other members were only around 10 years old and below. But they still believed that one day, they would get their community's name and flag back, so she begged Iseoi to help them. Iseoi agreed to this, and Kurosagi was so delighted to hear it. Meanwhile, Guard invited Asuka and Kasakabe to join the forest gallows, so he bragged about how big his community was, which was because of their winnings in the gift games. But whatever he said, it did not work on them, so they still rejected his offer. Guard could not accept their decision, so Asuka was forced to use her power on him. She was wondering how Guard expanded his community even though he was not a demon lord. Using her power, she was able to make him confess, so they found out that Guard's members were kidnapping the women and children of another community. What surprised them even more was when he said that they immediately killed their hostages because they could not bear the noise of the children's cries. Guard could not stand the effect of her power on him, so he transformed to attack them, but Kasakabe acted quickly to stop him. Asuka decided to challenge Guard to a gift game, so when Kurosagi returned, she was surprised when she found out about it, but she did not worry too much and said that Iseoi would defeat them all. But Iseoi had no intention of joining the gift game because it was Asuka who challenged the enemy. Since the gift game would be held the next day, they were brought to Shiroyasha, who was an executive of Thousand Eyes, to evaluate their gift. When Shiroyasha mentioned the location of her gate, Kurosagi also explained what these gates were. Those like them who were no-name community, or had few members, were at the bottom or at the 7-digit gate. While those who had the most members were at the single-digit gates or near the center. Shiroyasha also mentioned that she was the floor master of the East, and she also confidently said that no one in the East District living below the 4-digit gates was stronger than her. When Iseoi found out that she was stronger than the water god, they immediately challenged her. Shiroyasha did not reject them, so she took them to one of her playing fields. They found out that she was also one of the demon lords of the little garden. Because of this, Iseoi retracted his challenge to her in the duel, so they started the gift game. They were told that they would fight a griffin who was the king of birds and king of all beasts. To win the game, they had to ride the griffin as it flies around the lake. Kasakabe volunteered to do it, but according to the griffin, she had to make a bet. Kasakabe decided to risk her life, causing her companions to be worried. When they started, Kasakabe remembered what her father had told her before, that she should not back down once she faced a griffin. The griffin made its flight even more difficult, but Kasakabe had a desire to win and befriend the griffin, so she tried her best and successfully passed the test. Suddenly, she fell from the griffin. Fortunately, she was able to activate the necklace that her father had given her. Since they won the game, Shiroyasha gave them gift cards. They did not know what it was used for, so Kurosagi said that they could put their gifts in it, and they would also see the names of the other gifts that they would receive. Iseoi immediately realized that his gift was unique because his gift card only showed that it was unknown. On the other hand, a demon lord went to the headquarters of Forest Gallow to give Guard a demon gift. When Iseoi's group arrived at the headquarters of the no-name community, Kurosagi immediately planted the tree saplings so that they could have water. At night, there were people from other communities who came to spy around the headquarters. When they were about to begin their mission, they were surprised when Iseoi appeared to them. It turned out that he was expecting their arrival, so he used his power on them. When Shin came out, Iseoi told him that Guard had sent some visitors. But they were surprised when they found out that these intruders were from another community, and they were just being controlled by Guard. After witnessing the strength of Iseoi, they were confident that he could defeat Guard, so they begged him to crush the Forest Gallow community. They thought that Guard's hostages were still alive, but Iseoi told them the truth that they were killed by Guard. Iseoi knew how they felt, so he said that Shin, who was their leader, would be willing to fight the Forest Gallows and get revenge on the demon lords who were tormenting them. Shin did not agree with what Iseoi was planning, but Iseoi said that this was what they needed, and if they won the game the next day, he guaranteed that Shin's name would be known again. Aside from this, there was a high possibility that the other communities that had a grudge against the demon lords would also have the courage to fight. Although they were currently short on members, they had a better chance of finding strong members than waiting for the old members to return. After hearing this, Shin told him about one of their members who was already owned by one of the executives of Thousand Eyes. This person was like a slave, and he heard from rumors that even though she used to be a demon lord, she would be the prize in the gift game that would be held. The next day when they were playing the gift game, Shin immediately noticed the demon gift after he touched the tree. To win the game, they had to defeat Guard with a weapon. This meant that they should not use their gift to defeat him. So they tried to find the weapon mentioned in the Geas roll, but could not find it. Until they reach a house, and they had a hunch that guard was there. They entered the house, and soon they saw guard in a room. Meanwhile, Izayoi and Kurosagi were just waiting outside because they were not allowed to watch the fight. Shin immediately noticed the vampiric aura on guard, and he knew who did it on their opponent. Then they saw the cruciform sword that was the weapon referred in the Geas roll. Guard immediately attacked them. Fortunately, Kasakabe acted quickly to block it. She told her companions to go out first, and since Shin refused to follow her order, Asuka used her power on him. Kasakabe managed to get the sword and used it on guard. But just a few minutes later, she came out of the house and was already bleeding. When she lost consciousness, Asuka asked Shin to watch over Kasakabe because she would try to face guard. A few moments later, guard smelled that something was on fire, so he immediately left his room. He saw Asuka, who was the one who started the fire, and he immediately attacked her. After Asuka avoided guard's attack, she quickly left the house. Guard managed to catch up with her, and when he attacked, Asuka used her power on the roots of the trees to bind him. But he still managed to escape, so Asuka used the sword on her opponent. She successfully defeated guard, causing them to be announced as the winners. After the fight, the original appearance of the place had returned to normal. When Izayoi and Kurosagi saw Shin and their wounded companion, Kurosagi immediately took Kasakabe to the community workshop because they had members with healing gifts. Then they talked to the members of the community who were aggrieved by guard and returned their flag to them. Because of this, an alliance between the two communities was formed, and their goal was to defeat the demon lords. At night, Kurosagi talked to Izayoi because Shin mentioned to her about Izayoi's plan to retrieve the former member of the community. This member was a woman whose name was Leticia, and based in Kurosagi's description, she also possessed strong powers. After Kurosagi left, that was the moment when Izayoi asked the one who had been watching them earlier to come out. The intruder could not believe that Izayoi felt her presence. She suddenly attacked, so the others quickly went to the room. Izayoi was about to prepare to attack, but Kurosagi stopped him because the woman who attacked him was Leticia. After hearing this, he did not continue attacking their visitor that night, so Kurosagi formally introduced her to them. Asuka asked why she helped guard during the gift game, and Leticia answered that she just wanted to test them. Kurosagi was excited to tell Leticia that they would try to take her back, but she had some bad news to tell them. She said that Laius, who currently owned Leticia, cancelled the plan of making her the prize in the gift game because he had found a buyer. So Shiroyasha was very annoyed at the sudden change in Laius' decision. She also found out that Laius was currently planning something for the no-name community. When she stood up, Laius stopped her, and since Laius knew that he would not win against Shiroyasha's strength, he brought something that would surely destroy the place where Shiroyasha lived. After Leticia informed Shin of Laius' decision, Izayoi realized why she was in such a hurry. So he gave in to her demand, and they got out of the house so that he could show her his strength. Leticia used the lance and threw it at Izayoi, but Izayoi just easily blocked her attack. Kurosagi suddenly hugged Leticia, and using the gift card, she found out that Leticia's gifts and divinity were gone. This was the reason why even though Leticia was a pure blood vampire, she was already very weak. A few moments later, someone suddenly attacked them who turned Leticia into stone. This was done by the disciples of Laius, or the members of the Perseus community. They took Leticia, and only then did they find out that Leticia was going to be sold outside the little garden. Kurosagi suddenly got angry and released Indra's weapon to fight the Perseus community. But when she was about to attack, Izayoi suddenly stopped her. Izayoi reasoned that they might be able to fight the Thousand Eyes, and he did not want that Kurosagi would be the only one enjoying the fight. But because of this, the members of the Perseus community were able to escape from them. They decided to talk to Laius, so they went to Shiroyasha's house. They tried to talk to Laius to get Leticia back through a duel, but Laius did not agree to it. Instead, he offered Kurosagi to be his slave in exchange for Leticia's freedom. Kurosagi even thought about this, and when Laius tried to force her, Asuka got angry, so she used her power on him. Laius was able to get away from her power, but when he tried to attack Asuka, Izayoi just blocked it with one of his fingers. In order not to get into trouble, Kurosagi told Laius that they would talk about his offer. Laius agreed to this and gave them a week to decide. When they returned to their headquarters, Asuka argued with Kurosagi because she was against Leia's offer. A few moments later, Iseoi came to the room while carrying 2 bags with something round in them which they thought contained watermelons. Kurosagi took it to the headquarters of the Perseus community to challenge Laius to a duel, but he once again refused to it. So when she showed the 2 circles from the bags, they were surprised because those turned out to be the gifts that would give them the right to participate in the legendary gift game. The 2 gifts were received by Iseoi after he defeated the Kraken and the Gree, and it was Shiroyasha who advised them on what they should do. To get the gifts, Laius could do nothing but accept Kurosagi's challenge. When the battle began, Iseoi's group easily entered Perseus' headquarters. So Laius' disciples immediately moved to stop them. Since Kurosagi would only serve as a jury, only 4 of them would be allowed to fight. Iseoi instructed them to split up, and he chose Asuka to be a decoy. While they were looking for the opponents who had the ability to be invisible, Asuka started fighting the other opponents in the front. Kasakabe managed to track down a member who was able to turn himself as invisible. They found out that the helmet which the man was wearing could make him invisible. In order for Iseoi and Jin to be able to move forward, they needed another helmet. They asked Jin to hide while Iseoi used the helmet, so when the other enemy came, Iseoi easily knocked them down. But after a while, someone suddenly attacked Kasakabe. They could not detect its presence, so the enemy continued attacking her. When Kasakabe got up, she used the echolocation. Through this, they were able to successfully track down the person who attacked her, causing Iseoi to punch the enemy and defeat it. They did not waste any more time, and immediately went to the arena where Kurosagi and Laius were located. At that moment, Laius called the demon lord, named Algol. It immediately attacked, causing everyone in the headquarters to turn to stone, except for those inside the arena. On the other hand, Shiroyasha was also currently watching the ongoing battle. Since Laius summoned Algol in the fight, Shiroyasha's colleague said that the no-name community had no chance of winning. But Shiroyasha still could not say that Jin's group would be defeated in the fight. When Algol attacked Iseoi, Laius immediately thought that he already won. But he was surprised that Iseoi just blocked the attack. Algol attacked again with her snakes to capture Iseoi, but it still did not work. She rushed at Iseoi, but she could not do anything against his strength. Out of frustration, Laius was forced to attack Iseoi, but he only received a strong kick from him. When he got up, he made Algol use the petrification, but Iseoi easily stopped it. Then he immediately attacked Algol to finish her off. They could not believe that Iseoi was able to destroy Algol's gift, and based on their knowledge, the gift that would destroy the world and the power that would destroy the gifts had not yet existed within the same person. After the fight, Laius could do nothing but accept his defeat. Because of this, the no-name community successfully recovered Leticia. One day, Kasakabe and Lily went to Asuka because of a letter they found. They immediately went to Iseoi, who was currently in the library with Jin, to show them the letter. They learned that it came from the nativity of Salamandra, which was located in the Northeast District. The letter informed them about the events for the upcoming festival, and one of them was the gift game that would be led by a floor master. Since they wanted to join it, they decided to go there even though it was too far from their headquarters. They let Kurosagi know this through a letter too, but she was so furious when she read it. At that moment, Iseoi and his companions were at Shiroyasha's house to beg her to take them to the northern border. But before Shiroyasha agreed to their request, she explained about the floor masters and their duties. As they were listening, Jin found out that the festival that was going to take place was the coronation of the new leader of the Salamandra, and this surprised him. This region was also led by a floor master. She added that they used to have an alliance with them before the demon lord attacked them. They learned that the daughter of the former leader, named Sandra, would be crowned as the new leader and would also be the new floor master of the North District. Since they were determined to go there, Shiroyasha asked for something in return before she take them to the Salamandra. Iseoi immediately agreed to this, so she took them to the place. When they arrived at the location, they immediately noticed the difference in their culture and compared it to the East District. But just a few moments later, Kurosagi suddenly came there. They tried to run away from her, but Kurosagi was able to hold onto Kasakabe. She left Kasakabe to Shiroyasha's care for the meantime, and continued to chase after Iseoi and Asuka. While the three were busy in their hide-and-seek, Shiroyasha let Kasakabe into the house to show her the poster of the Battle of Creators. She wanted to invite Kasakabe to join it because Shiroyasha believed that she would be able to pass it through the gift which was inside her necklace. A few minutes later, Leticia was able to capture Asuka, while Iseoi continued to run away from Kurosagi. When they both reached the top of the building, Kurosagi challenged Iseoi to the gift game. They agreed that whoever won would do whatever the winner requested. And the first one to catch the opponent would be the winner. After they read the geas roll, they started the game by tossing a coin. Meanwhile, as the girls were on their way back, Asuka noticed a spirit on the stall. Leticia thought that it might be lost because it was rare to see the spirits alone. When the spirit noticed Asuka, it was shocked and immediately left. Asuka decided to chase after the spirit, so Leticia also followed them. Because of what Iseoi and Kurosagi were doing, they were getting the attention of the people in Salamandra. A few moments later, Iseoi kicked a building to distract Kurosagi and made it hard for her to make a move. But when they noticed that the building was falling towards them, both of them attacked to crush it. Before they reached the bottom, they managed to hold each other's hands. For this reason, the result of their match was a draw. And after a while, the Salamandra military police led by Mandra arrived at the area to arrest them. On the other hand, Kasakabe participated in the tournament and successfully reached the final round. Then Iseoi and the others were brought in front of Sandra to let them explain. Iseoi reasoned that he just followed Shiroyasha's request to make the festival exciting. Since there were no recorded casualties, and Shiroyasha also promised to repair the damaged buildings, Sandra decided to ignore what they did. When the soldiers came out, Sandra quickly ran to approach Jin because she missed them. But Mandra was not pleased with Jin's closeness on Sandra, so he attacked him. Luckily, Iseoi quickly stopped him. Mandra even belittled the people from the no-name community, so Shiroyasha reprimanded him. But he also informed them that the entire East District was suspected of spreading alarming rumors, so to silence Mandra, Sandra scolded him. Iseoi wondered what was the rumor all about, so Shiroyasha said that an executive of Thousand Eyes had seen a demon lord, and it was going to attack soon. Although they still had no idea which demon lord would attack the city, Sandra begged Jin to help them protect the Salamandra. On the other hand, when Asuka caught the spirit, they became friends immediately. Whenever she asked for the spirit's name, it only mentioned the word rattenfanger. But this was not its name because it was the name of their community. Since the spirit did not have a name, Asuka just let her be. Then they went to the exhibit to check out the displayed items. They saw the big robot, and it had the name Dean written on it, which was said to be from Rattenfanger. Because of this, Asuka was amazed at the Rattenfanger community. Suddenly, a strong wind passed by that caused the lights to go out. After a while, a lot of rats came out to attack. Asuka tried to control them, but her power did not work on them. She used the cruciform sword and they quickly ran away. She suddenly heard a female voice, and it turned out to be Leticia. She tried to find the spellcaster, but no one appeared to them. Because of this, they just got out and went straight to where they would stay. After they showered, they had a meeting to prepare for the attack of a demon lord. Kasakabe also took this opportunity to ask Shiroyasha about her opponent. When Shiroyasha showed the geas roll, Asuka was surprised to read the word Rattenfanger on it. Then the Pied Piper of Hamelin community was also mentioned in their conversation. Shiroyasha said that this community also served a demon lord before. She added that this demon lord summoned many demons from 200 grimoires and led the community called Grim Grimoire. But this community was dissolved after losing in a gift game. Since they did not know the connection of Pied Piper of Hamelin with the Rattenfanger, Iseoi explained it to Jin. Jin recounted an incident in the city of Hamelin where 130 were attracted by the Piper. The Piper in this story was the Rattenfanger, who was a rat catcher or the one who manipulated rats. After hearing this, Asuka suddenly remembered what happened earlier that day at the exhibit. After their meeting, Asuka wondered about the possibility that her spirit friend might be on the side of a demon lord. The next day, the fight for the final round of the Battle of Creators began. Kasakabe would fight against Asha from the Will-o'-the-Wisp community. She was with the acknowledged greatest gift of Will-o'-the-Wisp, and also known as Jack-o'-lantern. Before their fight started, Shiroyasha transported them inside a big tree. To win the game, they had to get out of it as fast as they could or destroy the opponent's gift. When the game started, Casacabe moved quickly to find the way out. But Asha would not let her win, so she immediately chased Casacabe. When they got closer to Casacabe, they attacked her repeatedly, but they could not hit her. Casacabe just kept running, so Asha thought that she might already know the way out. Because of this, Asha ordered Jack to chase after Casacabe, and after a few moments, Jack caught up with her. Asha quickly ran towards the exit while Jack was trying to stop Casacabe. It continuously attacked her until she was surrounded by fire. Because of this, Casacabe decided to give up, and Asha was declared the winner. However, Asha still did not think that she won, and she wanted to fight Casacabe once again the next time. Suddenly, Isekai noticed something falling from the sky, and it turned out to be black geas rolls. When they read it, they realized that it was the work of the Demon Lord. The message stated that everyone in Salamandra were participants in the gift game. To win the game, the players must destroy the false lore and expose the true legend. And the Demon Lord was already stationed with his disciples. Suddenly, the Demon Lord used his power on Shiroyasha, so she could not participate in the gift game. When they saw the enemies, Isekai quickly went to them and attacked Weezer. He dragged the enemy, but it managed to break free and immediately attacked him. While Ratten continued towards the location of the other players. From the names of Weezer and Ratten, Isekai immediately thought of the tale of the Pied Piper of Hamelin. So he learned where their powers came from. Meanwhile, Leticia was currently fighting the Demon Lord, named Pest and Sturm. But because of the power that she lost, it was difficult for her to keep up with them. She tried to attack using her weapon, but it did not work on the enemy. Fortunately, Sandra came there, so she was able to get away from Pest. While they were evacuating their subordinates, the other soldiers suddenly made an attack. Asha was also there, so she helped to stop them. When the girls went to Shiroyasha, she said something that she wanted them to convey to Kurosagi. But before she could finish speaking, Ratten suddenly came to them. In this situation, Asuka used her power on Jean to bring Casacabe to Kurosagi. Then she also used her power on Ratten, but the enemy quickly escaped from it. Asuka could not get up after the attack, so Ratten hit her once again, and this caused her to lose consciousness. After that, Ratten used her flute and the sound of it made those affected fell under her control. Fortunately, Kurosagi activated her status as Judge Master. She stopped the gift game because it still needed to be evaluated. Then she told the host and the participants that they would have a meeting. During the meeting, they clarify whether there was a violation committed by the host or by Pest's group. But Pest insisted that they did not commit any violation. To find out if Pest was telling the truth, Kurosagi used her ear to connect to the main hub of the little garden. After a few minutes, she confirmed that there was no violation made by the group of Pest. Because of this, they had discussed the next schedule, so they could continue the gift game. Since many of Salamandra's residents had been affected, Jean suggested to continue the gift game after a week. He reasoned that if they continued the game earlier, those affected might die. After Casacabe took care of the other affected victims, she talked to Asha. It turned out that she was not feeling well, causing her to lose consciousness. On the other hand, Asuka and the spirit were currently in the cave where the big robot was located. After a few moments, someone suddenly spoke to her from the glowing orbs that surrounded them. She learned that these were also spirits, and they gifted her the robot Dean because they wanted her to use it to end the false lore of the rattenfanger. When Asuka accepted their request, Dean had been awakened from its long sleep. A week later, they resumed the gift game. Jean told everyone to break the stained glasses because those were the false lore. When Pest noticed what they were doing, she activated the grimoire of Hamelin. He changed the whole place to make it look like the city of Hamelin. Because of this, the others could no longer trace the stained glass, so Jean told everyone to look for the churches, because if this was indeed the city of Hamelin, the stained glass was definitely hidden. Weezer started to act, then he and Isekai continued their fight. But this time, Weezer had a divinity. And since they were in the city of Hamelin, it strengthened him even more. While Sandra and Kurosagi were fighting against Pest, Ratten with the Sturm confronted Jean. Leticia sent Jean and the others ahead, so they could continue looking for the stained glass. But before they could get far, they were immediately blocked by another Sturm. When it was about to hurt them, it was suddenly attacked by Dean, who arrived with Asuka. As the battle between Isekai and Weezer continued, Isekai revealed that Weezer was the true Pied Pipe of Hamelin. He also explained his reasons why he accused him of being this person. After hearing this, Weezer was amazed by him and said that Isekai was like a demon lord. But Isekai said that although being a demon lord was tempting, it was not his goal, and that was when their fight continued again. When Dean started fighting with other Sturm, he was just defeating them with his punches. Ratten tried to attack Asuka, but Dean managed to catch her. Since Asuka was not satisfied that their fight would end like that, she challenged Ratten to a game. She told Ratten that she would let her play some music to try to control Dean. Ratten agreed to it and immediately stood up to play the flute. But even when her music ended, she still failed to control Dean. So Ratten just accepted her defeat, causing her to gradually disappear. After several exchanging of attacks, Isekai got annoyed. He frankly told Weezer to stop pretending and in holding back his attack. Because of this, Weezer was forced to pour all of his strength into his next attack. Isekai also faced it with his strength, and from the impact of the power after their attacks, they both fell. Isekai got up and planned to continue the attack because he thought that Weezer could still fight. But it turned out that its weapon had also been damaged, so like Ratten, he also gradually disappeared. At that time, Pest felt that the aura of Weezer and Ratten were already gone. For this reason, she decided to kill everyone, so the soldiers quickly let the residents into the house. But Kurosagi saw a child running away from danger, so Kasakabe acted quickly to hopefully save him. Good thing that Asuka came on time, and they stopped the deadly smoke. Kurosagi was about to be engulfed in the deadly smoke when Isekai suddenly came there to save her. And he attacked Pest. Kurosagi took out a gift card and told Isekai the plan she had in mind. After she told them her plan, Isekai and Sandra fought against Pest, so that she could go to Asuka and give another gift card to her. Then she immediately returned to help Isekai and Sandra in the fight. But even they fought together against the enemy, Pest was able to knock them down, and she was planning to do something. That was the moment when Kurosagi used her gift card, so they ended up at the Moon Shrine. Pest was about to attack when Kurosagi used the sun armor. Isekai took advantage of this opportunity to attack their enemy. Then Pest was surprised that Asuka and Dean were also there. Asuka used the gift card that Kurosagi gave her, and Sandra also used her power to bind their enemy. Their plan worked and Pest was unable to avoid Dean's attack. She was completely defeated, so Isekai's group was declared the winners. When they returned, Asuka went back to the cave and talked to the spirits. To show the spirits gratitude on what they did, they gave her spirit friend the gift of agriculture. So when they returned home, they immediately began to use the gift of agriculture to try to revive the farmland of their community. This is the end of the last episode of Problem Children Are Coming from Another World, Aren't They Season 1. I hope you like it and give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel so you won't miss new uploaded videos. Thank you for watching.